Hey everybody, welcome back to the Texas State Championships. We got round 2, BigSexy commentary. We're out at Milby Park. You got the lead card.
Yeah, we've got some familiar names coming up today. Ricky Wysocki shooting the scorching 17 under 1099 rated round.
Yeah.
Nate Sexton and Eric Oakley, but then we have a new guy in the mix.
Yeah, Eddie Ward, first time I'd met him, 17-year-old kid out of Indiana, and he's solid. You're about to see, he's a solid player.
Yeah, I'm staying with a guy who played with him first round, and he was really impressed with his first round. 49 first round was hot. Second hot round behind Ricky's 17, and so we're excited to see him play today.
Yeah, he seems like he has got a good head on his shoulders. I expect to see more of him.
Hole 1, or actually hole 15 as it is. Here, we started on 15 instead of 1, which I think was a pretty interesting choice.
Yeah, just maybe better tournament central area over there, bigger parking lot.
And we had a huge right to left wind here. Anything up in the air was going to sail pretty far right. And it made it difficult because there's a tree in the way that prevents you from swinging it as wide as you'd like.
Yes. And about 10 minutes before this, Paul Macbeth slammed an ace here with his T-Bird 3. So, you know it can be done.
It can be
done.
But
yeah, he was riding the wind on that shot. So this is Eddie.
And that's as wide as you can get it. And that's a really nice shot there.
Yeah, he skipped it right in there. Edge of the circle. Trying to find something on the ground.
Are you planting grass?
Quite the opposite.
Okay. Oh, you're unplanting grass.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Slick outfit.
Thanks, man. Thank you. So I'm going forehand here over the fence. Fighting the wind.
That's a big play. With that, wow, that is a great shot there. That's a fantastic start there. That shot is scary. You know, that corner of that fence is just far enough away with that wind blowing right to left that if you don't have the power to get over it, it could easily drop into it and be out of bounds.
Yeah, if you got the worst wind drop ever, you could be in trouble. But I was hoping it wouldn't. Eric went a little higher than he wanted, but he's well clear of the fence. Just over there on the left. And then as we're walking up this fairway, Eric realized he forgot his putters in his car. So he had to go jogging away.
Oh my goodness.
And run over there and get him. Rick here going for it but not quite getting it. Eddie and I actually putted before Eric because Eric was at this moment running to his car.
Great starting putt. Wow.
I know. Eddie from, I think, just outside the circle. And he nailed it. And that's the kind of thing that really impresses me because at 17 years old, lead card, first time really traveling to play as far as I know.
Right.
To step up and just hit it right out of the gate.
Wow.
Good thing to do.
I thought Eric kept his putters in his pants.
I thought he did too, but I don't know. I'm not sure what happened. They must have fallen out.
Oh, interesting.
So now we've got Eric, after quite a jog,
Oh my goodness.
running back here to Neil with the putters that he just got from the car.
No.
And it was worth it.
No.
Can you believe that?
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. I was so happy for him because he just comes running back like,
Oh my gosh.
you know, on the one hand, you're like, do you really need to go get your putters, man? You're 70 feet away. Like, you could probably lay up with a lot of discs.
That's incredible.
But then he nailed it. So good thing he made that jog.
Yeah, it was worth it. Well worth it. Next time he should just keep his putters in his pants, though.
All right, so we got hole 16 here. Short par 4. Lots of trees, though. So with the wind we had today, really over the top is not available. I think the most likely play is either going to be a low backhand or maybe a roller.
Yeah, the roller was the play that I think most players were probably lining up in practice. Certainly not, or the players who can't go over the top are looking at the roller. It's the only way to get to the pin. The low ceiling is just, it's too long of a shot to keep it low that far and get 500 feet.
Yeah.
But the wind that we had was still the right to left that we had from the previous hole. It just really made it almost impossible to keep the disc on the right angle to get it all the way down.
It blows the roller out, and it doesn't get any distance, really. But it's still, for me, it's still worth it because at least I'm getting under the canopy.
You're avoiding the canopy, and you're getting no less than 350 feet, so maybe 400.
Yep, and Eric's the same. You can see the wind blowing it out. He's coming in right the same area as mine just went.
And that's fine. Really, the name of the game on this hole, I think, is just avoid taking a 4.
Agreed.
It's too easy of a par 4 to really go for anything too risky.
Yeah, in calm wind, I think you'd see a lot of eagle putts from top players, but this is a little different scenario. So Rick with kind of an unfortunate,
Really bad roll, too.
yeah,
Wow.
catching that first tree. I almost hit that same tree. The wind kind of took it over there, but he's got an alley, but not the easiest shot.
Okay.
Edge of circle, a little deep.
Yeah, the rough on the on these next couple holes, this one and the next two, actually, really on these next like 5 holes, I feel like that the rough is pretty brutal.
Yep.
If you're just a couple feet off, you are going to be looking at some thick foliage.
Yes. So Eric just wanted to lay this up, but he did not succeed.
Oh my.
It was, I mean, Eric and I are good friends, so I had no problem telling him it was the worst layup I'd ever seen.
And well, I mean, you're the best layup artist of all time, and you just hit the cage.
on an accident.
That was a layup.
That was the layup gone wrong, but it almost went so wrong
Wow.
that I got an eagle. But Eric doesn't care.
What a start for putting.
Yeah, he just nailed it. I told him that was the second best putt I'd ever seen after the one he had just made.
Okay.
So he had a lot of like career firsts. And Eddie just drills it from 2 inches outside the circle.
Was it windy for you guys too?
Yes.
Are you
But
sure?
these guys didn't make it look that way.
I have not seen any influence of the wind yet.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was really impressed by the way those guys were starting off with their putters. Both of them, I think, have made 2 for 2 outside the circle. Eddie and Eric. And Rick doing a Rick thing, just
Yeah.
making a nice putt
Yeah, that's definitely
to
a
save
Rick thing.
himself. And I guess my 3 looks pretty boring compared to those guys.
It's just a constant thing to see Ricky throw a shot where you're like, all right, haha, got one of the 8 strokes he's got me by, and then he either beats you by a stroke or comes out with the same score.
You're absolutely right. He's a guy you can never sleep on.
Scramble artist.
Yeah.
He is the scramble Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the all-time greats.
This is one of the only holes on the course that's like this. This is actually the only hole in the
It
woods.
feels like a real woods hole.
It's a woods hole. You are under a canopy, 320 feet.
Yeah.
Just throw it straight and let fade. Basically none. You don't even need
That's
it to
what
fade.
you want. That's what you want. Eddie caught a little bit of tree here, but really not that bad. I wanted to throw a backhand here, but then I just sort of felt like I hadn't played a woods hole in like 2 weeks,
Yeah, this is woods golf, man.
and I just shanked it. Nothing makes me madder than when I come away from the backhand and go, I'm gonna play safe with the forehand, and then I hit the first tree anyway. It's like that just really.
Is that the voice of something going wrong inside your head?
What,
I'm gonna throw a forehand.
going to throw my forehand. Yeah, for sure. That makes me really frustrated when I try to play safe and smart and end up doing worse than I would have done going aggressive. So Ricky's showing you how that forehand's supposed to look.
Yeah, that's great.
It's not like
the forehand
parked, but
works
it's
great
good.
because you look at this hole, the basket fades off to the left, so every player instinctively is going to say the backhand's the way to throw it.
Yep.
If you can throw anything straight, doesn't matter if you throw a flick roller or whatever you can keep under that ceiling goes straight.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Because the name of the game is just get it close.
Yeah. Eddie just laying up. My layup was pretty weak. I put it like 40 short, which was disappointing, but I still have a putt to save a par. Eric also just going to lay up here.
How much harder do you suppose these holes get when you're playing in Texas and you have a bunch of open shots and then you come up to one? That was a rip thing.
Yeah, for sure. It was a great birdie from Ricky there.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I think it makes a difference. Just when you have a hole that's like this hole and the next hole are like the total opposite type of golf than the whole rest of this course and the other course.
Yeah,
So
and the
it
state
does
of
make
Texas.
you feel. Yeah, it does make you feel like, what, a rock shot? I haven't thrown a rock in forever. Didn't quite commit to that putt, unfortunately, and I'm gonna have to take a bogey. But these guys tapping out decent pars, and obviously Rick with a really nice birdie.
To me, it seems like this hole is as wide enough to be fair for any player.
Oh yeah.
It's just when you are used to seeing maybe more open shots and having some freedom
Sure.
to let the disc fly, when you
Sure.
see something a little bit more narrow, it just makes it even maybe smaller than it actually is.
Yeah, and I have no problem. I like that hole a lot.
Yeah, it's a great hole.
Just didn't execute. This is such a short hole. It says 206, but I feel like it maybe even plays shorter than that.
I have a hard time believing 206.
Yeah, It hooks really hard right. I can't imagine anything but a forehand skip.
Yeah, I'd like to think that you could throw a turnover, but you really can't. The ceiling's too low for it.
And it breaks too hard.
Way too hard off to the right. And this ground is so hard packed that if it does hit something without hitting a tree like that does, you're going to skip really far.
Yeah.
So it's really, you don't even need to throw anything that's really overstable. It's just something that just makes around the corner.
Yeah, and you want to go just short of the trees those guys just hit.
All right, there's a little tiny gap that it's just, you just want to get right around the corner, sneak it, and then, see, that's almost too much speed, but again, the tree
just 2 feet shorter
Sure.
than that, and you're in business.
So why the Sexton Firebird and not like a mortar?
I want the skip.
Because of that.
I want the skip.
Okay, all right. And that's how you execute that shot. Just pushing the back edge of those trees there. Oh my goodness,
And
great
he almost
run.
just hits another one.
Very solid, very impressive putting stroke.
Yeah.
And it looks like he has the nerves to handle the big pressure.
That's what I thought too, because I was sort of like not sure. This kid's 17. I was kind of expecting I bet he's gonna. I remember those days. It's like
Sure.
he's probably gonna have a tough round today. I was already kind of feeling for him when we started, and then he just came out and showed me
Before
who was
you
boss.
thrown a shot, you're all like,
I was
oh.
already like, ooh, man, this could be tough. But, because I remember first action up there and just kind of not feeling like I was showing the people what I could do.
Yeah,
But he didn't have that problem. So that bodes really well for his future in the game.
sure.
So birdie for me and some cleanup pars for the rest of the group. Get my stroke back that I lost on the last hole.
It's always interesting to see a hole that's questionably 200 feet. I mean,
Yep.
it almost, you're right, it does almost play like it's like 180.
Yep.
Have one birdie.
Yeah, it's just because it's a tricky shot. It's a shot that I'm going to excel at with that little forehand play. That's a throw that I throw all the time. But I think for a lot of players, they don't, if they throw a forehand, they're throwing it pretty hard. There's a lot of players that have good forehand, but they don't necessarily have a 180-foot little forehand. So it's a weird skill set.
Hole 19, there's basically 305 feet straight.
But the rough on the left is OB, and the rough long is OB.
And there's actually rough on the right that's out of bounds as well. And the grass actually, as you see there, is pretty thick. So when you're not going to get many skips, and this is kind of just throw something this is going to land inside the circle. And that's really the name of the game here.
I went forehand because I felt wind from the right, and I was worried about if I threw my backhand too soft that it would lift and go OB left. So I went straight at that tree and just kind of figured if I hit the tree, I hit the tree. If it breaks inside it like I think it will, then I should be good. Eddie's showing us a perfect backhand here.
Well done.
Skipping it right in there. And Eric, I think, with some kind of putter. And right after he was throwing this, he said something like, I got to get a new one of those, whatever, whatever type of putter, because it just kind of flipped over more than he expected.
Yeah, sure. He definitely started out off on a hyzer and turned over almost immediately.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is quite a bit of wind to consider coming from the right side, and you want to play something that rides that wind in. Solid putt, Ricky. Really solid putt. But the play I think for most players would be just a soft mid-range, out wide, and just let it kind of slowly fall in.
Yeah. And kind of interesting thing about this course, we're so close to the Gulf of Mexico, they told me that there's about a 4-foot tidal influence on that water. So you get a bunch of different times you play this course, you're going to have water in all kinds of different places.
Wow.
3 birdies, 1 par for Eric. So a pretty well played hole. If Eric just had a newer putter, I think he would have joined us. Now we're moving on to a hole that had some rules changes to it. Okay, so this hole, we had a small rule change to it. It has a little channel of water right around the green, which was originally going to be out of bounds. But then the TD changed his mind and made it casual, which I think was probably a good decision. You can see that little ditch right there. Right now, it hardly has any water in it. When I practiced, it was full because of that tidal influence.
Interesting. And that that mud there is slick.
Yeah.
My touring buddy Austin Turner fell in there, and he was down to his kneecaps almost in mud.
Wow.
So you want to stay away from it. Whether it's casual or not, you're not trying to go in there.
Yeah. And here we had a strong wind coming from the left, so it was pretty... The challenge here, I felt like, was just getting your disc to finish into that wind and get over towards the basket. So Rick is coming in here, and he actually ended up finding that muddy spot.
Yeah.
So he won't be OB, but he probably will want to putt from the short side unless he wants to ruin his shoes.
This has a really small green. You know, you have a postage stamp almost 385 feet. I would even argue that it could be even a little bit further than that.
Yeah.
And you can see just off to the left. If you're 20 feet left, as I was laying up.
Yeah.
I almost had no putt whatsoever. And this is really important to just throw one that just lands right there in that little spot.
Yep.
I mean, even if you're in that ditch, you can see you're going to be putting from almost at your shoulder.
Yes.
Just to get it over the grass.
Yes, there's a lot of rough there. An interesting hole, but I would like to see the rough on the good side of the little creek just backed up a little bit.
Cleared out. Ooh.
Eddie nearly hits it.
It looked like he may have had a low ceiling
a little bit
because of that log that's just off to the left.
A little bit.
Oh, solid putt there.
Yeah, I had about a 30-35er. Wobbled her home.
And the straddle putt, you almost are coming a little bit lower with that grass there. I wonder if you're...
I got outside so there was nothing in my swing.
Okay.
I was able to move. Rick got the nose down just a little bit.
Yeah, maybe that low ceiling maybe caused him to put a little bit more nose down than he would have liked.
Yeah, I think low ceiling plus wind, both of those things can kind of make you think, oh, don't let this thing get nose up.
Yeah.
So one birdie for me and pars for the rest of the card. And we're moving on to our second par 4 of the day.
Yeah, this one's actually more of a legit par 4, though. This is actually 2 shots.
Yes.
Whereas hole 16 is kind of a throw and jump putt approach. This one's actually, you have to really get a good tee shot off. And if you get clean and you throw maximum distance, you're going to have a relatively short approach, but it's still an approach.
Yeah, definitely. And there's this pretty good ditch right next to the basket. Not out of bounds, but could present some tricky putts.
Yeah, and you really want to avoid, at all costs, do not go left.
Yeah, it's all OB and bad rough. If you don't quite make the OB, you're in some terrible rough.
You might not find your disc, and you're also going to hate your life for about 5 minutes.
Yeah. Mine was a little too low. Rick's is a little bit too turned over. So we both didn't really get quite the distance we're looking for. If you want to see how it's done, talk to Eddie.
Hey, Eddie.
Oh, wow.
How you go, Eddie? Good shot.
Fantastic go.
So he got a good, 450, probably. 450 probably.
And yeah, we're playing to a pretty moderate headwind, as you can see those leaves coming back. So that's not too surprising to see 2 shots go way right there.
Yeah.
The good thing about that, though, is that although it is kind of a lengthy par 4, I guess, in terms of 2 shots into a headwind, there are enough gaps in trees that you can still manage to throw an approach in the circle as Ricky has done here.
Yep, there he is.
Mr. Scramble Master.
So my lie was kind of tricky because there was a giant hole right here, but I was able to get my foot around the outside.
On the outside.
Went with the super overstable Firebird.
And just inside the circle, right behind the tree.
Yep.
Bringing the only tree up there into play.
I thought I had gotten past it, but when I got up there, no such luck.
A nice low ceiling to avoid the wind shot from Eric.
This
That's beautiful.
Perfect shot.
Yeah, you can't draw it up any better than that.
Yeah, he got that absolutely right. Probably at least 325 through that wind.
That was terrific.
And Eddie was quite a bit closer than the rest of us and took advantage of it with a nice little mid-range.
Yeah, that's the benefit of throwing that great tee shot.
Yeah. So I had some low ceiling issues here, but was able to connect.
Oh, that's a solid putt. Dead center, firm, confident.
Yeah, I was really happy there because I was, like I said, I was surprised when I got up there. Oh, shoot, I'm behind the tree, low ceiling, this is not good. But was able to hit it.
And Ricky makes the basket feel bad for itself. He is such a strong putter.
Yeah.
I just can't say it enough.
It makes you realize it more on a windy day.
Yeah. That's where he wakes up and it's windy and he's like, good.
Yeah.
The rest of us are like, dang.
Yeah. So this was I felt like was a really good star frame.
Incredible star frame. You're going to get 1 to 2 players almost at every single card that are out of position and don't convert on those putts.
Yeah. So I was telling the guys, great threes, because through that wind, I was really impressed that everybody was able to get it. Now we're on to course hole 1. It's pretty tough, especially with the wind we were dealing with. Straight ahead, 410 feet. And it has these trees guarding it right at the end, so you have to really throw a straight shot.
Yeah, it's a fair shot. It's a golf distance shot. I feel like this is a perfect hole to challenge the majority of professional golfers.
Yeah, it definitely challenged me.
Oh, okay.
I had a Thunderbird in my hand, and then I was like, oh, it's too windy, I'm going to go Destroyer, and then I just super early released it and got nothing.
The good thing about that side over there is that the wind is pretty nice.
Yeah.
It should be a pretty easy 3, and that was a pretty smart play on your part.
This shot was incredible through the wind that we were playing in. 400 feet into probably 15-mile-an-hour headwind, and the thing was just a frozen rope.
How do you think he got his disc to go up and down so many times?
I don't think he can control it, but maybe he predicted it. I don't know.
That was incredible.
So Eddie threw a pretty good shot, but just hyzered out a little early. It's so hard to keep the disc straight.
Yeah, with this headwind here, you really kind of wanted to start it with a stable disc, maybe a slight bit of anhyzer to kind of fight the wind and have it just hyzer back towards the end. But it's really easy to get it off to the left if you don't quite commit.
Yeah. Eric, I think, throwing a Justice. This was a nice upshot.
A little bit of that rollout afterwards, which is fine because you're still within almost 99% range.
Yep. I just jump putted my mortar to get through the wind.
There's that wind I'm telling you about. That was a good shot.
Yeah, I wouldn't usually use the mortar from that range, but when you can't be letting a dart go floating away on you. So it's not Rick's turn yet. He's 2 parked.
Wow. There you go.
Eric with a good save, and Rick with such a good drive. Really a bonus birdie. Bonus birdie in these conditions. And the rest of us just kind of cleaning up pars.
With your shirt as tight as it is, it's really hard to read the wind. Like in a looser shirt, you'd see the wind flapping more.
Yeah.
But with your shirt as custom tailored to your body as it is,
it fits like a glove.
Right. It kind of makes it difficult for the viewers to see how windy it actually was.
Yeah, it's part of my strategy because I don't want my competitors picking up on that.
Okay. Hole 2 is a really tricky, deceiving hole. It's pretty straightforward. You have this gap straight ahead of you. There's a little bit of a low ceiling or far out to the right shot that you can turn something over and have it come back over.
Yep.
And there's also a bit of a low ceiling gap over to the left as well.
Yeah, and the city is just doing some grass replanting there. None of that means anything for OB, all that brown dirt.
Okay. And Ricky's going for the alternate options D gap, which is the spike hyzer over the top. Yeah,
which was kind of allowed by the fact that we had so much wind, because he could count on it to swing back.
We had some wind coming off the water there, so it was a bit of a right to left tailwind actually. So it facilitated that shot, and that was the other play that I chose that shot myself.
Yeah, just keep it straight.
And that's about 100 times better than I've seen anyone do that shot so far. That shot is really, it begs to be thrown, the straight shot. However, there's a couple of branches that are hanging down, like, he avoids it too.
Gets under.
But all the good-looking shots that I saw go down the middle hit the 2 leaning branches out there.
Yep.
And it was really frustrating to see that because you thought that those shots were thrown perfectly.
Yeah.
This is a group of 4 really good tee shots.
Oh, man.
And a really solid bid there.
Really close.
To have 4 people in the green is, I'd say, a bonus for most cards.
Yeah. And Eddie, another solid one. Connecting from there.
It really looks like his surroundings really aren't affecting his play at all.
Yeah.
Which is kind of next level stuff.
Yeah.
For someone at that age.
So that was a terrible putt by me. Had good wind. I just kind of made a rookie mistake, and I was like thinking about all the gallery and if they were about to clap for Macbeth's drive, and should I wait or should I putt or should I, and I just didn't get my mind into it.
Maybe you should ask Edward what he's thinking when he's putting.
I think I'm going to hire him to start coaching me.
Okay.
But yeah, Ricky connecting, Eddie connecting. Eric and I commiserating.
I think you still hit the cage on that putt.
Some nice birdies from those guys.
Yeah, that's one of those ones that falls into the category of I should birdie this one, but it's still going to feel good when I do it.
Absolutely. Especially as windy as it was playing here right on the water.
You're not going to beat yourself up if you miss it.
Yeah. This one, you got OB on the right and OB way left in the water. It's uphill. I kind of feel like this is one of the prettier holes they have out at this park.
It's a pretty hole, and it's just it's just short enough that it feels kind of tweenerish if you throw a really good tee shot. Like Ricky's thrown here. Because from there, he's going to have almost a run for eagle. It's a really short pitch for eagle. But it's challenging enough that if you do not execute that good of a tee shot, you're going to be in some trouble.
Yeah.
It's really easy, I would imagine, in most conditions to hyzer down that hill.
Yes.
And if you do, it's going to make your approach really difficult.
Yes, for sure. I know a few things about that.
Okay, let's find out.
So yeah, I went destroyer here, Overstable. Have a little case of the early releases though. These last couple destroyer shots,
Oh, yeah.
and I didn't go out of bounds, but I might as well have
Yeah.
because there's a drop zone up top if you do go out of bounds. So it was a terrible shot. Eric ripped this.
Yeah, that's perfection. Just started off with a slight bit of anhyzer up that hill, fighting into that headwind, and yeah, that's money.
Super good. So this was not even easy, and that's the best shot I could do.
Oh, that's good
Just
enough.
to kind of chip it out vertical. Eddie with that big hyzer. Well, I liked that play. He just played it out wide and took the bushes out of play a little bit. I'm just trying to get it close and tuck my tail between my legs, get my four, and get out of here.
Yeah. What's that blue thing you're throwing?
Oh, you know what it is. Ricky was hoping this was going to go in, and it was pretty close. It's when he let it go, you could see him kind of go, "Ooh, I think I might have got it." Yeah, those guys put a clinic on this hole. They were really showing me how I should have thrown my drive.
A little bit of a nerve putt here. Anything outside 25 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Another
Really
tester and another connection.
Well done. It's a solid start for the kid.
Absolutely. Eric with a nice birdie. Rick's going to do the same.
How'd you know that?
I just had a good feeling.
Okay.
And yeah, like I said, me with a disappointing par, but really nothing I could do once I threw the drive that poorly.
Yeah, 4 there is pretty much birdie from that tee shot.
Yeah. There was no 3 going to happen for sure.
Next hole is a long, it almost seems like it could be reached for most power players, but there's just enough OB over there to the right with those planters that avoids the super high aggressive shot.
The mulch is OB, but then that little strip of grass is in again, but then the fence is OB on the right.
And it's just way up there to the right. And
Yeah, Macbeth actually got it. He got the 2.
did he really?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it's not tight enough to stop some players from going for it, but this is an eagle opportunity.
I think I heard he made about a 60-footer. He got a big drive and a big putt.
Yeah.
And that's what it would take.
So he's got 2 eagles through the first 8 holes or 9 holes.
Oh,
or so.
because of the ace, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Ricky with a huge drive there. I mean, he put that thing out there, high 400s, right in the spot. Eddie flipped this too much, but he actually got through the pines and into that little strip of safe land again. So, no OB.
Yeah, I feel like maybe there should be a line there that just makes all of that
I agree.
out of bounds right.
I agree, because it's pretty fluky if when a worse shot gets back in bounds. Because Eric here comes up about 1 inch short. 1 inch from popping out into that safe land.
Right.
I was sick of early releasing shots, and I just decided I'm going to throw a forehand, get a birdie, and get back on track. I didn't practice forehand here, but I knew at only 6:15, I knew 2 forehands would get me a birdie.
Yeah. Yeah, this isn't. It's too short to really be considered a par 4, but it's too long to be a par 3.
Yeah.
But it still is. I thought it was still a fun hole.
Yeah, I liked it. And I mean, nothing wrong with a eagleable shot that can kind of tempt you into going for something big.
It is. It does tempt the player. Maybe if there was a slightly less amount of wind, it would have been a little bit more tempting.
A nice dodge by Michael there. He almost got nailed by that disc.
You sure he didn't get hit?
He didn't get hit. He dodged the last second.
Wow.
And I don't know what happened here for Eddie. I'm sure he was trying to throw a turnover, but it just kind of flopped out hyzer on him.
Tucked against that fence there, he probably didn't have that many options.
Yep.
And Rick's thinking, I'm going to do what Paul does. But
not quite, but he is parked. Easy birdie. Eddie from about 45.
Oh, wow.
And he just barely misses it. Eric from a kind of a tricky lie. Can't really get his legs into the putt, so you kind of can overcompensate sometimes by kind of crushing it with the arm. So here's Eric coming back for the bogey.
Solid stroke there from about 26 feet.
Yeah. And myself for a birdie.
There you go, back on the train.
Yeah. And then Rick's got a drop-in birdie, and Eddie. Rick using some fancy footwork.
Oh, wow. I see what he's doing there.
And then Eddie with the par. So that's it for our front 11. Is that how many holes we played? Yeah, I think we did. It's a front 11 coverage. So thanks a lot to Jomez. The front 11 kind of snuck up on us. We'll admit it. We're used to these 9s. But thanks everybody for joining. We're going to be right back with the conclusion of this round. 10 more holes, heavy wind, lots of birdies, lots of other things.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching.